What's up? How you doing? I go by the name of Joffey Joe, and this is the show. Call it how I see it. And on today's episode, I got a couple of teams I want to talk to y'all about. First and foremost, we have two great MVPs coming in when both of these teams needed them the most. Yes, I'm talking about the Phillies and Sixers. I'm talking about two MVPs coming in and showcasing their skills. Yes. And secondly, I have Glenn Pratt Jan Carlo. They're in the house, and we are here to talk Final Four basketball. Yes, March Madness is just about over. It's April now, and it's that time where we dive in and tell you who we think is going to win it all. And third, I'm here to talk about a certain investigation going on. Yes, this certain investigation is revolving around a high-speed motor accident involving 6 cars. Very dangerous. And why? Why most wide receivers and other players have difficulties with reckless driving and speeding. Okay, so tune in. It's finna be an action-packed episode. So, what a night, I must say, to be a Philly sports fan. It's been up and down March, but now it's April. And, I mean, after watching the Braves beat up on the Phillies, watching the Sixers slide in the standings, watching the Flyers go into the wild card position, it's been a little bit of tough sledding of late. But tonight was a great night, I must say. I must say so myself. I got to witness MVPs be MVPs. First, Bryce Harper. 3, not 1, not 2, but 3, including a grand slam on the third one. Home runs, yes, finally. And also had a career high in RBIs today with 6 RBIs. My man Bryce, rain, shine, snow, whatever. It was raining a little bit tonight, but my man, the MV3, yes, he showed up tonight. He showed up tonight in a big way where the Phillies bats have been a little sluggish this season, at least to start off the gates. But my man Bryce, he stepped up and hit 3 home runs. First inning, later on, and then later on in the game, he had a grand slam when the bases loaded. What a feeling. I'm going to the game Wednesday, so I hope he still has some more in the tank. I'm not sure what they're going to do. I know that they pushed the game back from 1 to 4 just because it's been raining every single day ever since March started. But, you know, it's that time of year. It's April. Hopefully most of these showers can bring some Mayflowers. But, what a night. It was good to see. I was impressed by the Phillies. Yes, Spencer Turnbull pitched a pretty good game. And after grabbing a commanding lead, they were able to use, Ricardo Pinto, who they haven't used since 2017, I believe, into a role where he could eat up innings for the bullpen, which is really big. He pitched pretty well, too, I got to admit. Because overall, this bullpen has been an issue. I felt that ever since the MLB.com had ranked the Phillies bullpen as the number 1 bullpen in Major League Baseball, I felt like it was an omen. I felt like it was a big jinx. So, to see them come back to earth a little bit after getting beat up by the Braves so bad opening week, it's good to see. It is. Like I said, I'll be there tomorrow to watch. I believe Zach Wheeler's pitching. I could be wrong, but I hope he is. And if he is, I will be excited to watch because he showed some good stuff that opening game. And moving forward, I always do trust him. And I hopefully can trust Aaron Nola down the line. I hope that was just a hiccup. I hope it wasn't a mistake. And I hope I don't regret them not signing Blake Snell. But baseball season's very long, and Aaron Nola does eat up innings and does command a lot through his pitches. So we shall see. Very interesting turn. But we need to see the bats. We need to see the bats. We need to see hits, home runs. We need to see it all happen because we can't have another season where we leave runners in scoring position. That is what happened with the Braves series. It happened the first game against the Reds, which they should have won, but, Connor Brogdon, who got designated for assignment, rightfully so. But a win late tonight can definitely put the Phillies back on track, and hopefully they can win this series. And, moving forward in a long season in baseball, it's important for the Phillies, maybe not to sweep, obviously, not very easy to do in every series, but to win every series is very big, and they did that a lot last year, so hopefully they can do the same type of results this year. I'm optimistic about the Phillies still, even if they are missing Taijuan Walker. We shall see. We shall see. But I think Topper will keep him in line. He knows his team inside and out. And to watch an MVP do to watch an MVP do this type of thing and help ignite the bats the way he did tonight was really big and touching. Hopefully, this can really be a trend for the Phillies moving forward. Yes. So now I do want to get into the other MVP. Yes, he came back tonight. We've been waiting so long. He hasn't played since January 24th. Ever since the cum bucket Jonathan Kuminga tangled up his legs in a figure four and tore his meniscus. Joel Embiid is back. And he played 30 minutes tonight, which I did not expect. But he played it, and he looked exhausted. But when times mattered most and Tobias Harris was hitting brick after brick after brick, and I can't stand him anymore, Joel Embiid was there. Joel Embiid was there, and he helped us. Also, this is a game that included a game without having Tyrese Maxey run the point. He's been taking a couple of days off. But this also is a big win against the number one team in the West currently. But they were shorthanded as well, as they were missing two of their best players in Jalen Williams and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who I think should really be the MVP this year, but they'll give it to Jokic because it's Jokic. But we're talking about last year's MVP, and that is Joel Embiid. And Joel Embiid, 30 minutes, put up 24 points. 24 big points that we really needed. If he did not play tonight, there was no chance we would have won this game. I must give the Thunder credit. The Thunder are really a good team. They are. I would be surprised if there was some type of setback in their playoff run. They're definitely going to make it through the first round. I wholeheartedly believe it, no matter who they play, even if it's the Lakers or even if it's the Warriors. I think that this team is ready, and I think this team has been... this team is like a seed that was planted after that whole Paul George trade, and it has grown into a nice, beautiful flower. And I have to give that organization a lot of credit, especially Sam Preston. But, mind you, tonight it was a duel. Chet Holmgren came to play, and he is a very good player. He's not going to win Rookie of the Year, which he shouldn't even anyway because it's his second year, but, injury status. Thanks, Ben Simmons. But, nonetheless, Chet Holmgren is a good player, and he led his team in scoring tonight and also put up big numbers against Joel Embiid in down low and also in the post. But when it came down to it, Joel Embiid, exhausted, mentally, physically, back with his cornrows and his new goatee, he really came out and played, and we needed him most. He checked back in with the last 4 minutes, and after he checked back in the fourth quarter, he really helped excel the Sixers into this win. Kelly Oubre, who I think is better than Tobias Harris, who I think deserves a big contract. Hello, Daryl Morey, I'm talking to you. Get this man signed. He deserves to be on this team. But regardless of all that, Kelly Oubre came up big steals, big threes. He is a big piece of what the Sixers are doing this year and should be a big piece of what the Sixers are doing moving forward. Just calling it how I see it. But Joel and Kelly really helped this team win because there was a point in the fourth quarter where I was really biting every limb off of my nail because Tobias Harris really took really bad shots, made a lot of bricks, and I'm just really tired of watching Tobias Harris play in the Sixers uniform. Yeah, I said it. I just can't. I don't. When you need a bucket down low, he can't get it. When you need a three, he can't get it, and it's just been brick after brick, and I'm just really over the whole Tobias Harris experience. I'm glad this is the last year. I know he will not get another big contract with us ever again. But mind you, like I said, it was big to watch Joel come back. You can see it in the whole arena, the fans. It was electric. It was a playoff atmosphere type of game, and the Sixers are going to fight to get into that sixth spot. It's going to be a fight. It is. We have to pull ahead Miami, which I think we are one game back from Miami now because we had some games where we slid, where we didn't have Maxey or other players play. But we are now in the position to strike. I believe there's 8 games left, and that could still make up for a lot of time where we can make up ground and grab the 6th seed. If we were to grab the 6th seed, we will play the Cleveland Cavaliers, which I think could be a favorable matchup with Joel Embiid back on the court. And I think things could look up. A lot of people would argue, why even bring Joel back if you're going to be playing in the play-in tournament and this season might not be worth it, might be a lost season. But I think there could still be some virtue out of this. If you have Joel and Maxey play to the highest levels, obviously it's not going to take Joel. It's going to take Joel a little bit of time to get back to somewhat form. But for him on his first night to play 30 minutes, exhausted, but play, in the type of fashion that he did tonight, it really helped boost the team energy-wise and everything. It's good to see. It's good to see our guy back, honestly, and I really appreciate Joel Embiid and everything he does for this team. He sacrifices a lot. His body has failed him a lot, but overall, in the long scheme of things, he is the backbone of this team, and without him, this team cannot go as we saw throughout the regular season. However, like I said, we have to take things game by game. I think Nick Nurse can make the right adjustments. They have to play better on the perimeter because there's way too many open shots and too many open threes that are going in. Like, if it wasn't for that, this game should have been not what it was because, technically speaking, the Thunder really got a bunch of lucky open threes that they made, which you should. I mean, if it's an open shot on the perimeter and you're going to take it, you take it. Luckily for us, they did not make these shots at the end of the game, and we were able to win the game. Nail biter, but it was good to watch. It's also good to watch Alan Horowitz back up there, standing up, waving the towel around. Shout out to Al. I see you on them crap games. I see you, boy. But overall, a good night. Yes, a good night in Philly. Hopefully the Flyers can bounce back. I know Tortorella in his press conference the other day ripped the entire team, saying no one showed up in the second period. But that is for another day, and the Flyers, I hope, can still hold on to their playoff spot, whether if it's the wild card or back in the Metropolitan Division with the Capitals going neck and neck with them. But that will be for another day. Overall, good night. I'll take it. And yeah, I just had to call it how I see it. And we're back. And I got GP, I got Glenn Pratt, and I got JC, Jan Carlo, back in the house. Yeah, what's up?
What's good?
What's goody? What's goody? How you, G?
Good. Let's get it. Let's call it how we see it.
Yep, that's right. That's what we're here to do, bro, and that's what we're gonna do. So, March Madness happened. It flew by. It's April now. So now we're here. We got the Final Four. A lot of shit's happened, and I mean, for the most part, two teams that we thought probably could make it to the end are in the end, including UConn, bro. UConn has been storming through people, man, just brushing through people, not giving up 60 points to anybody. It's just even their 30-point run that they had against Illinois was crucial.
Insane.
It is insane, really. It's really they came into this tournament as a great team, and now they look like they could be an all-time great team, especially if they do the back-to-back. You know what I mean? Danny Hurley, man, he's really doing his job out there. So for sure. So, like, you know, we've seen UConn brush through Stenson, Northwestern, San Diego State, and even Illinois. But for the most part, I mean, most of America kind of figured this was going to happen, like I said. But, like, what do you guys think? Like, first we'll start off with UG. Like, what do you think UConn's chances are of repeating?
Well, UConn's a machine, man. I don't see them being stopped. I mean, as good as Alabama may be. I mean, UConn from all fast, they got the big man. They got so much versatility on their team, coming at you from so many ways. I just can't see Alabama. As good as Alabama is, I think they're up against it this game here.
I agree. What do you think, Jay?
I agree with Glenn 100%. Those guys are deep 1 through 9.
Yeah.
Straight down the bench. How are you going to keep up with that?
Even
foul trouble doesn't bother them.
No, it doesn't. It's like they got the next man up. There's
very little drop ball, no doubt.
They're all like ready to go, ready to play. It's really crazy. It was crazy to see like someone like Castle like end up shutting down Illinois' best player, Shannon or whatever. Like he had a streak where he put up 25 points in 7 straight games, and then for him to like just get shut down, and only have 8 points, and just the way they lost was really just mind blowing. Really, it's if they do repeat, that's like going to be like the staple and the stamp for like them for moving
Their
forward.
second halves have been strong. I mean, they've come out. If you thought it was close, they made no doubt in the second half. You know what the outcome was going to be. You know what I mean?
Yo, they've been ripping the soul out of people, bro. Just like stealing their heart and shit. Just like second half. I don't know what Hurley tells these guys at halftime, but jeez, man, it's really
right, absolutely.
Come out pedal to the metal in the second half. That's it.
No, for sure.
It's not even close. Alabama had a nice run. They ended my bracket, so.
Yeah, I mean,
it's time to go home.
I know we could pencil them, but I mean, let's talk about Bama a little bit. Like, they brushed through Charleston. They beat Cinderella Grand Canyon. Upsetting UNC was huge. I was watching the game last Thursday with my boy. He was a big Tar Heels fan. My boy Brando, but Dude, he just like
It still hurts.
it was a comfortable matchup, and then boom, like this kid with a mustache, Grant Nelson, comes out of nowhere and just sets the freaking court on fire, and UNC couldn't stop anything, bro. It's really crazy.
Yeah.
It was a back and
March
forth
Madness, it being a one-game thing, I mean, you got to bring it every night. You got to find what team can bring it 6 games straight. That's what it boils down to.
No, you're absolutely right.
Those one-game eliminations, even those number ones are vulnerable, man.
I
2 of them
agree.
went down.
I agree 1,000%. Like Bama does have like a pretty formidable team. I think we can both say that. I think we can all say that UConn's favored in this matchup. But I mean, Bama does have some kids. They have that kid Mark Sears. He looked really good against Clemson last week, and just like hitting those threes in the big crucial moment. Even when Grant Nelson, like he got in foul trouble, that freshman Jaron Stevenson, he stepped up,
Right.
put up 19 points. Putting his staple on things. They got Nick Pringle, can put up some points. They got bigs that can maybe challenge Klingman over at UConn, but Klingman, man, like he's the prototype. Like I mean, he can move. He's not like the Sasquatch out in Purdue, man. He can move a little bit. You know what I mean? So, but should be an interesting matchup. But I think we're gonna see UConn beat them pretty soundly.
I like UConn, man.
They're just well-oiled machine, like you said, G. They're just like I don't know.
There's very little drop off, like what Carlos was saying. I mean, they're so deep. The drop off is minimal, so they just keep coming at you.
I agree.
Yeah.
And most of them,
Strength in numbers.
It is strength in numbers, but like also like they have a bunch of transfers too. Like that kid Cam Spencer came from Rutgers and stuff. Like UConn, like Dan Hurley's like he's figured out a way to like use like the transfer portal and things to his favor, and not just like try to groom kids and groom a program, but like really like utilize every tool he can to tool his team to where they are, which is pretty remarkable and crazy. So the other matchup I want to talk about that's happening at 6 o'clock on Saturday, I wanted to go into North Carolina State, North Carolina State and Purdue, and we'll dive into North Carolina State first with the Wolfpack. Like, what do you think about Mr. Burns, man? Everyone's talking about Burns, bro.
It's hard to deny. When I was watching him against Duke, I kept thinking, all right, Duke. At one point, it seemed like Duke was about to pull away. Next thing you know, I'm telling you, the kid was unstoppable. He was just dribbling, scoring at will. He was dominating so much down low. But I think he's going to be up against Sasquatch. It's going to be a little different. It's going to be a little different. So I'm telling you, he's a very effective defensive player. Whether he's a great defensive player, we can argue that his size alone. It's going to be a lot of shots all. I think it's going to be a different story for Mr. Burns.
I think so. I think I can agree with that. What do you think, Jay?
I think that it's going to be the battle of the big men.
Yeah.
It's going to. I love Burns' story, coming from Tennessee, going to Winthrop, and ending up here. It's hard to root against him, but this is the ultimate test for him.
I agree.
If you can get Edie moving, if he makes a move, then you got a shot.
True.
I agree.
You have a shot.
I agree 1,000% with that one. Like it's crazy to see like I was saying, transfer. You move in different spots and then finding a spot over here in North Carolina State, helping save this coach's job, man. Like
isn't that something?
Yeah, they caught fire.
They fired their coach right at the beginning of the year, North Carolina State.
I could be wrong. I'm not sure exactly. I know that Kevin Keatles is like on the hot. He was in the hot seat coming into the ACCC tournament, and then like them going on that run, winning the tournament, getting into the tournament, and then going on the run that they're in now. I could be wrong. I'm not sure 1,000%, but
they fired. Actually, that's another thing. I'm almost positive they fired their coach real early into the season. This dude took over.
Okay.
And even though they still had some lulls during the season, they caught fire then. I mean, them coming back against Virginia put them in this position. I mean, just for them, they weren't going to get in unless they won the ACC tournament.
Yes.
Exactly.
So with them beating Virginia, I mean, and then running through the great story. But I personally, I think it ends this week. I'm a favorites guy.
Yeah.
I look at the way Purdue is playing, as great as NC State's run has been. I think they're going to be up against it this week.
I agree. I mean, other than Burns, they have that other kid. I think it's DJ Horn. DJ's not bad. He was their leading scorer for them. He can play. It's gonna be interesting to see because like when we watched, like if we're gonna go into Purdue now, so like when we watched Purdue play Tennessee, like the supporting cast on both sides was completely horrible. Other than Dalton, Connect, and then it was the Dalton Connect show and the Zach Edey show basically.
Right.
They just went back and forth. You watched 2 All-Americans really just duke it out because like the rest of the squad just did not show up. Like Edey they had 69 points, and then Edey put up like 40 points of that.
40 of those points.
72, didn't they?
Okay, I could be wrong. I'm sorry, but
72 and he had 40. I mean,
but still,
he was the team.
He was the team. He was the team. And even like him coming up big at the end, blocking Connect, because Tennessee was gunning, bro. They were gunning. Rick Barnes and his crew, they were gunning.
Right.
but they just like they didn't have enough to pull it off. But overall, like see Purdue, it's where they are now. It's kind of almost like reminiscent of like the Virginia run, like losing to the 16 seed and going on this redemption tour to come back and prove yourself as like a team or whatever. It's pretty powerful. But
I like the bounce back, man. I mean, losing to one seed, losing to a 16 to me has got to be catastrophic to a pro. I mean, it's just some label you don't want.
No,
I mean, that's one thing. You know what I'm saying? So for them to bounce back this year, I give them a lot of props. Yeah.
I do as well. It's really crazy. Like I think this is their first Final Four since 1980. I think. So over there,
it's been a while.
It's been a minute, bro. It's been a minute. So we'll see how that goes. But I mean, for the most part, I think we can all come to an agreement. I think like the Cinderella story of North Carolina State and freaking Alabama. This is their first Final Four. So like, I think there's been good coaching by those two teams. Like their coaches really elevated their teams to help get them where they are now. So
got the most out of them, no doubt.
Yeah, so it's gonna be intriguing, but when it comes to it, I just it's just like you're versing. You got to turn on the buzzsaw, bro.
No, absolutely. They're both up against it this week, and I see it being. I like the number one seed's chance.
I do too. So I mean, we're gonna see. We're gonna see.
I can agree. I think the NC State game will be a little bit closer.
I think so too.
I don't think it's gonna be a walk in the park, but ultimately, it's gonna be UConn Purdue.
Yeah, Tennessee hung in there for the most part.
Tennessee is a legitimate team. They were very legitimate. They were well coached. It's just a shame that Connect didn't have more people to help support him. Like they had, dude. How many people did they have try to guard Zach Edey? They had like 3 different guys.
Yeah.
I think the second center that tried to cover him, he was out in 10 minutes, got fouled out. I was like, dude, this is just like, how do you? And like it's crazy to watch Edey. Like it's not like he's shooting threes either, bro. He's like one hand.
He's
one hand. It's just like one hand. But also like. Watching that too, I think that kind of might have threw Purdue off a little bit. It definitely threw Tennessee off. Like the whole rhythm of the game just like got thrown off, and just like he was like the vortex on the court that just like threw everything off. But But like if they're gonna play UConn though, like with them, like I really am intrigued with the matchup of him and Klingman. I think Klingman can actually like outsport him and really make him look not bad, but like he can match up with him very well. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So. It's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, for Purdue to have a chance, their role players have to play.
Yeah, exactly. You have to show up. Their guards, their forwards.
They can't have a performance like they did against Tennessee and get away with it.
No, they slip by. They really slip by in that game. And like if they're going to play UConn, bro, good luck.
They better come back because it's 1 through 9. How are you going to stop it?
Dan Hurley and the boys, man.
I don't see it happening, man.
Nah, I think we can all crown that. We think that unless some type of the only thing that can beat UConn is themselves. Like if they really just don't show up, because like even when they've been beating these teams, they haven't been shooting that very well. They've just been making the most of what they can. Honestly, like that game against Illinois, they look good, but like other games, they could have been better. Even Dan Hurley said it.
Right.
So
no
makes them even scarier if you think about it.
No, for sure. That's what I was gonna say. Like we might have not even seen the best of UConn yet. So
right.
So we'll see. But I mean, I think we can all agree that we think UConn's gonna win.
Let's get it on. It should be a good one. I love to see them both get it.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
But yo, I appreciate y'all coming on and talking some basketball with me.
Come on, Joff. We hear from Joff. We gotta call it like I see it.
Yes. Good looks, yo. I appreciate you both on.
Always ready. Thanks for having me again.
Absolutely.
Always appreciate you, Joff.
Absolutely. I'll have y'all on next week, and we'll get back at it.
Let's do it. Be safe, fellas.
Absolutely. Have a good night, y'all.
All right.
You too.
So, for this take, I'm going to talk about reckless driving and speeding and athletes and whatever else comes into mind, right? So, last Saturday, Rashee Rice of the Kansas City Chiefs, Super Bowl champion, still waiting to get a big contract after a good rookie year, was the center of an investigation. Okay, this investigation is centered around a 6-car accident that involves a Lamborghini and a Corvette that are both registered to his name. Also, this investigation was sparked because when the police and investigators came to said crash site, they had found that the drivers of these vehicles which should be the same person, was not at the scene. So, according to Dallas police spokeswoman Kristen Lohman, she explained that the preliminary investigation shows someone in a Corvette and someone in a Lamborghini were speeding on the far left lane. When both drivers lost control, the Lamborghini went onto the shoulder and hit the center median wall, causing a chain reaction collision involving 4 other vehicles. 2 drivers were given medical attention for minor injuries at the crash site, and 2 others went to the hospital for minor injuries. The individuals in both the Lamborghini and Corvette had fled from the scene of the crash, not stopping to provide any information or check on the status of the others, according to the report. Rashee Rice grew up in Texas in the Fort Worth area, went to SMU in the center of Dallas. He was drafted by the Kansas City Chiefs in the second round of the 2023 draft and is a Super Bowl champion. Last season, Bryce was a big, vital part of the Chiefs' offense. He led the team in receiving touchdowns with 7. He was second on the team in receiving yards with 938, and also was second in catches with 79, both behind Travis Kelce. So, attorney Kyle Coker, who is representing Classic Lifestyle, told NBC5 that Rice was the only person who is supposed to be driving in the Lamborghini. In the past, Mr. Rice has rented vehicles, at least several vehicles. There were never any driving citations or accidents related to that. Coker said in the story that the issue that we have right now is that we have a totaled vehicle, and we haven't heard back as to who's going to be paying for that vehicle. And Coker also iterated, and I understand that there's, kind of a speculation back and forth as to how far, who's driving, and it doesn't matter. I mean, we're looking for accountability and to make sure that our business is made whole here. Rashee Rice hired a heavyweight attorney to handle this type of investigation and situation. That heavyweight attorney goes by the name of Royce West. Royce West is a Texas state senator and has his own attorney and associates, which is deemed under the name West and Associates in Dallas. Mr. West said on Monday he was representing Rice and released a statement on behalf of Rashee Rice. He, quotations, said, "On behalf of Rashee Rice, his thoughts are with everyone impacted by the automobile accident on Saturday. Rashee is cooperating with local authorities and will take all necessary steps to address the situation responsibly." Which sounds good now, but in the situation where the whole crash happened, where you totaled 6 cars, but 4 other people's cars were impacted by your stupid and reckless decisions. Okay? So, now, in the big picture of all this, right? In the big picture of all this, Rashee Rice is coming off a good year, right? Could garnish a contract in the future. He plays a wide receiver position, which garnishes a lot of money. So, why would you put yourself in such a position, speeding, being reckless, and being dumb? Young and dumb, right? Another receiver, young and dumb. So, what is the issue here with receivers going at speeds that almost to the point where it's almost a suicide note, honestly? Like, you're putting other people's lives in danger, especially at a time where it's 6:30 at night, and it's just very careless. I don't know if there's a sense of invincibility by Rashee Rice or other receivers that I'm about to mention. It makes you really wonder what athletes go and think about when they are doing this type of reckless activities. So, I do have other examples, and most of them are also wide receivers. Is there a need for speed with receivers? Do receivers need to drive fast cars and be reckless? I don't know, but please let me know, because I don't want to be on the road with these people when they're around, because I like my life. Actually, I love my life. I value my life. If these guys want to be reckless and stupid, let them be on a racetrack or doing something stupid where they can go rent out cars and do that. Don't do this in society and main public. That's really not that hard to do, right? So, as most of us know, we are familiar with the story of Henry Ruggs III, right? Henry Ruggs III was on the at the time, the Oakland Raiders, and got in a fight with his girlfriend one night in Las Vegas, and drove 156 miles per hour, intoxicated, and crashed into a young woman and bursted her car up in flames while her and her dog had perished. Very tragic story. Henry Ruggs did take accountability in this situation and is now serving time in prison. A young career gone like that. Last July, rookie receiver Jordan Addison in Minnesota was caught and cited for driving 140 in a 55, even before stepping on the field. Chris Olave, back in October, was cited for speeding and reckless driving for going 70 in a 35 and was reprimanded and detained and put in the Kenner jail in Louisiana. And we can also go to my beloved Eagles and their second-year player, Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter was part of the national championship Bulldog team that won in 2022. And after they won, they celebrated and was in a drag race that caused 2 people to lose their life. This drag race included offensive lineman Devin Willock and another Georgia athletic staffer. Carter is being sued currently by the backseat passenger of said car, Victoria Bowles, who was looking for damages after being severely injured in the Ford Expedition that was being driven by Willock. Willock and Carter were racing at a speed of 104 miles per hour. So, what is the need for speed here? Why do you need to be reckless? Why are you put in a position where you have worked so hard in your life to get to a certain point that people that, like myself and others around the world, would kill to be in your position, and you want to throw it away for just being reckless behind an automobile? I don't understand it. It seems to be a trend, and I just want to kind of understand why things like this keep coming to light. I'm sure this is going to keep happening. A lot of athletes in today's world feel the sense of invincibility and feel that they are untouchable. They feel they can get away with doing a lot of things, and this is one of the things that they feel they can get away with. I'm sure there will be some type of reprimandation done by the judge, jury, and executioner himself, Roger Goodell, in this situation, but everything needs to do its own due diligence process, and investigation will be carried out. So, where does Rashee Rice go from here? Overall, this will probably be a slap on the wrist for him. He will probably be put on some type of counseling and moving forward won't have to deal with much reprimandations. I don't expect him to be suspended. Nobody was severely injured, thank goodness. So it looks like this could be a situation where things get swept under the rug. My question is, who is going to be the next idiot that does this? Because it's going to happen again. There's a track record, and especially with younger athletes that are coming in, rookies and younger players, this seems to be a theme. So, who will be the next guy? We don't know, but I'm only thinking it's going to be a matter of time till it happens. Time will tell, but until then, just drive safe. It's not that hard. If you want to speed up to 10 miles per hour, that's fine. I don't care. I can share the road with you. But if you want to be a reckless asshole and drive almost 100 miles per hour over the speed limit, please get me off the road. I don't want to be around you. I want to keep my life safe just because you want to be a selfish asshole. So please keep the road safe.